First thing we want to do, remember the 30th anniversary Veterans for Peace. We're going to start off with a word from one of our founders, Doug Rawlings, from Maine. Doug, come on up here. Hey, I forgot to mention the first poet laureate of Veterans for Peace.
Oh, thank you all. I'm honored to be here. Let me begin with a benediction, if you will. Corporate America, be forewarned. We are your karma. We are your Orion rising in the night sky. We are the scorpion in your jackboot. Corporate America, be forewarned. We will not buy your bloody parades anymore. We refuse your worthless praise. We spit on your war memorials. Corporate America, be forewarned. We will not feed you our bodies, our minds, our children anymore. Corporate America, be forewarned. If we have our way, and we will, the real war memorials will rise from your ashes. Or something like that. Hey, hey, where's Barry? Where's Barry? Where's Barry? Barry, where's Barry? No, not that Barry, the other Barry. All right, I'm sick at Barry, stand up. Barry and I are sharing an anniversary today. 45 years ago, we returned from America's war in Vietnam. 45 years ago today. All right, so let's do a little math here. 30 years ago, a couple of weeks ago, 30 years ago, I joined with 5 other people, and we inked the Charter of Veterans for Peace. 15 years in between, wandering in the wilderness, trying to find a place to do some good work. And here we are, years later. Our first convention was in the basement of a church in Portland, Maine. There might have been 12 of us there. And look at us now, right? So, I want to talk just a little bit, and I want to use a couple of poems, and I'll be out of here. You know, oftentimes people try to find out, or ask me anyways. I'm sorry, can you hear? I'm sorry. Yeah, that's all right. Hey, look, and I taught high school and college for years. I know how to handle you guys talking. Hey, take your hats off. What the hell's the matter with you guys, right? You know? Hey, but the whole notion of why Veterans for Peace, how come there's only, 4,000 members or whatever? First of all, of course, we take quality over quantity. But, the whole notion is that, pardon me? Can't hear. Really? Really? Oh, yeah, turn up your hearing aids. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right. Jeez. So you missed my Frank Sinatra rendition back there. I'm sorry, guys. I think we are who we are because we are not those kind of veterans who are content to sit on a bar stool, at least not all the time, and swap war stories. If you join Veterans for Peace, you are an activist. You are an activist, and so that's a hard thing to do. And my point about the 45 years coming out of NAM, 30 years, doing the VFP thing is we got to cut some slack for our younger veterans. It took me 15 years to come to this point, right? So let's cut them a little bit of slack. Let's give them some time, but we will be here for them when they are ready to join us as Veterans for Peace. So I want to read a couple of quick poems here. This one is for, if there's anybody in the audience with gray hair, this may apply to you. I don't know, it certainly applies to me, but whatever. And I dedicate this particular poem to those performance poets that presented at the Universalist Church on Thursday night. Did you see those guys? These young men, right? And they get up there and they do this poetry without looking at anything, right? They're rapping, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I can't do that. Well, here's why. Mind is car. The clutch is slipping a little, definitely losing reverse. The rearview mirror is cracked, and I can't remember the last time I changed the oil. Language creates a metaphysical conundrum. Is my mind pre-owned or is it used? If pre-owned, then what ancient soul was predestined to stumble into mine? Better to consider it used. Radio buttons stuck on the same stations. The back seat jammed with kids laughing. The tires going bald. That's by Poetics. This past year, I was deeply honored and touched to be named the Poet Laureate of this wonderful organization. So I took it upon myself over this last year to write a collection of poems taking on the perspective, using the persona of a veteran in America. I call it GI in America. And of one of this collection, I wrote a poem for Veterans Day, which I try to do every year. I try to write poems for Veterans Day. And I was honored by the investigative journalist Ann Jones, whom I've been corresponding with, asking to read this poem at the end of her remarks on the day after Veterans Day at the Lannan Foundation in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where she was on the stage with Andrew Basovich. I strongly recommend that you go to that and listen to those 30 minutes of her talk. And if you don't know Ann Jones, she's probably been, I don't know how many times she's been to Afghanistan, but she's written a trilogy about the Afghan war. The first book that she wrote about the women in Kabul. She lived in Kabul for a year and wrote about the women there. But the book that got me writing to her was the last book that she wrote, where she stays with some American soldiers wounded in Afghanistan, and she follows them back through the path that they took back here to the United States, stayed with them, talked to their families, and wrote this amazing book about that war. And it's probably one of the most profound anti-war books I've ever read. So she read this poem, and then I'll be done. Well, I don't want to bring you down, but it's real to me, and I hope it works for you. This is entitled "November Comes." November comes on to me like a C-130, slinking in a Dover Air Force Base, laden with tin caskets draped in red, white, and blue. I know, I should just let it be. Okay, I can still do this. Push my shopping cart down the local IGA's aisles, pick up cheeses and wines and crackers while avoiding aluminum cans like the plague, pay the cashier, smile at the bagger, push the cart out into the parking lot, neatly place everything I just bought into the dumpster out back, light up a smoke, relax. Sure, you want me to join in on your celebrations, bless our bounty, accept your thanks for my service as if I were some pilgrim come home to receive your grace. It is November, you say, and we set aside a day just for you to wrap up war with the dissonance of fife and drum and bagpipes blaring down Main Street, as if we can all finally dance to the same tune. Sorry about that. My dancing days are long gone. I'd rather skate across the pond alone. I have more faith in ice. That said, I have faith in peace, I have faith in love, and I have faith in you. I want to thank you all for being Veterans for Peace. Bless you all.